Welcome back, my scumbags. As you've noticed, I've gone a little bit further. I've added some mods to my server, and these are luxury mods. You don't have to have them. No shoe damage, no glove damage means you don't have to repair every time you hit a zombie or you run over rocks. Um, and then I have earplugs, which of course everybody knows the deafening wind and the rain for any map can become tedious. So we have the option to earplug. Now, I'm coming down and I've got two mods down here that have to be placed in my XML files to make them work. So I will show you how to do that, and I will explain the types files a little bit more. But the very first thing you're going to have is a program called Notepad++. And when you look it up, this is a website you need. This is Notepad++. There's plenty of other ones that are not the right one. So whenever you go to look for it, this is a website it needs to look like. And you're going to click on the very top one because that is the most current one. And then you're going to download it right here. But I already have it. I don't have to download it. So the first thing I'm going to do, now that I've got my Notepad++, I'm going to go into my MP missions file, and of course we're running Pripyat. I'm going to go to my database file. This is right here. It's DB. And as you can see, you got economy, events, globals, messages, and types. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download my types file. This is the thing that makes my server work. This is what gets all the goodies on. So now that I've got it downloaded, I'm going to open my Notepad++. And the first thing we need to do is go to plugins up here at the top and admin plugins. And these are basically what helps you make sure everything is on track. So I already have it, so it's not going to be on this list, but you can add anything to this to make it work. But I'm going to go ahead and close that because what I have is right here. It says XML tools. And this is going to help me make sure that my XMLs are correct. So I need to open the types files that I just downloaded. And there it is, everything for my server. So let's explain this a little bit. Whenever you see it says types up here, you're going to see types everywhere. And this is how it works. So I'm going to click here, and this is one block. Everything highlighted for one block. So, and then you can see that it starts over. After you see this, it comes down to the next block. So each one is a block and each one is an item. And the nominal right here where it says 15 is how many is going to be on the server. That's the maximum amount allowed on the server at one point in time. And then you have the lifetime, which is basically if somebody picks it up and moves it or drops it or leaves it out in the open because they're doing something else and say they disconnect and can't get back on for however long. This is in seconds. So however long it's been dropped, that is going to make it despawn. That kind of helps clean up your server a little bit too. And then you have the restock, which is also in seconds. And basically, after so many seconds, it's going to keep a counter on how many is on the server. And then whenever you get to the minimum amount, which is 8, after the restock has said, okay, well, I've counted, there's 8, we're going to kick it back to 15. And that's going to bring that back in. So that's however many you want on the server at one time for the maximum and the minimum amount. And flags, don't really worry about that. Leave that alone. That's a whole nother ball game. and then you're going to see category, and then it says it's a weapon. That's going to be considered a weapon, and the usage is basically where it's going to be spawned, where it's going to be used. So it's going to be military. So that's the only spot you're going to find this item is in the military areas, and then so on. So we're going to come back down to this next one, which is the ACOG Optic 6.5. And as you can see, the nominal is 5 because it's a little bit higher. It's a little bit better than that one. And you're going to see where it says not only is it going to be dropped in the military areas, it's going to be dropped in the police areas. But you also now have tiers. You have a tier 3 and a tier 4. Most servers, most maps have up to tier 4 to tier 5. Depending on the map maker, if they wanted to make it a little bit more difficult, they'll probably throw in 6. It's however they want to do it. So this is a tier 3 and tier 4 scope. That means that it's going to be a higher loot rate, or a higher area to be looted. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get to. And it goes all the way through. So now you know your blocks. We're going to get into how to make a types file, because I downloaded a mod that does not have a types file, and I have to create my own types file if I want it to work. So as you can see up here, that is basically the entire types file. So you have the big types up here, which is the whole shebang, and then you can come all the way down to the end. And then you see types again, but this time it's got a /, which means it's closing this entire area. So you have to have an open and a close to make this work. And then of course, again, there's another block, another item that's, you can choose if you want that item on the server or not. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to find my code lock. Fairly simple. There's my add-ons. Don't have to worry about that. That says the XML. This is my types file for the code lock. So I'm going to copy this block, and as you notice, it is not a complete XML. So I'm just going to copy. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to go above the types file up to type, and I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm just going to paste that in there. And that's my block for my code locks. And I'm sorry, 80 is just a little too much for me. So I'm going to say 30, and then I'm going to drop the minimal amount to 10. Make my players work for this stuff. Okay, so great, that's there. Now we're going to move on to the files that are not there. So the next mod that I had added in, as you can see, is deck storage stuff. So I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to find my deck storage stuff. And as you can see, I don't have an XML file. The reason why this is named XML, because when you originally download it, there's nothing there. You cannot open this file. So I renamed it classnames.xml, and now I can now open this file. So as you can see, there are all the class names, but there is no XMLs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create XMLs. So I'm going to leave that open. I'm going to make my own types file. So let's say I'm going to scroll up here because this is like the best thing ever. Where's the code block? Okay, I'm just going to copy the code block. So I'm going to copy from the type where the name is and all the way down to the closed end. And then I'm going to paste it in a new area. But again, since I know it's not an open deal or fully closed, I am going to add in an open, and a closed. And there, I have an open and closed. And now I'm going to go to my plugins, and I'm going to go to my XML tools, and then I'm going to check my syntax. When that happens, it says no error detected, which means it is completely correct. I have a full-on XML. So now I'm going to go back to my box kit. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back up, and then I'm going to paste over the code block. And then I'm going to change the amount that I want on my server. Yes, I like it hard. So now those box kits are going to fall in the industrial areas and in the farm areas. And if I wanted to, I can add in military or whatever. That's just completely up to whatever. So now I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to hit enter and paste. Now I have my second block. Yay! Okay, so now the next thing you see is says the actual box. So I'm going to copy this. And you can find other mods that have other things that have the kits and stuff. But I'm going to show you this. So we're going to paste over the name. And I don't want the boxes spawning on the server. So I'm going to put the minimum and maximum at 0. But because this is the storage box, this is the thing that is going to hold items, I'm going to change the lifetime to what we call the infinite lifetime, which is 3888000. And that will stay there forever. It is not going to change. So now I have the kit to drop and spawn on the server, and then when it's found and put up, it will stay on my server. And I'm just going to keep continuing to do that until I've gotten all the class names done. So I'm also going to go ahead and check again, no errors detected. So when you get done, your types file will look like this. And like I said, I'm a little bit more advanced in this one, so I changed the way I'm going to have this done. So as you can see, we have all of them there. I'm going to check my XMLs. It tells me it's fine. So the next thing I am going to do is I'm going to start underneath my types. And this is a little trick most people don't tell you about, and you got to learn on your own. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to hold my shift button and click right on that last type. And I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to go over to my XMLs for my server. And see, that's where my code block is. So I'm going to hit enter. And then I am going to paste. And oh, look, there we go. Now I have those set for my server. And I'm going to save that file. And then whenever I save it, I'm going to come back to my MP missions and my server Pripyat. And I'm going to go back into my database. And then I'm going to upload the types file that I just saved. And then I'll be done. And what you do is once you've done that, you can start your server and everything will start spawning in it. So that is a very simple way. I'm probably going to get flack for it because not everybody does it that way, but this is the way I found it easy for me. And if you find this useful, please like, subscribe, share, and we will see you back